I'm going to press play. I can just edit things. Can't get it all in. The full glory. Shall we introduce ourselves? No, we don't need to do that.
We can do.
Hello, Natalie.
Hi, Dagmar.
We are Church of Performance.
We're here to talk about our latest performance. It was called
The Ascension of Esther.
Scouting for a venue for the performance of The Ascension of Esther led us to St Saviour's Hall on Lambay Hill, overlooking the sea beside Plymouth's historic Barbican. The hall was built in the 1880s to serve as a Sunday school to the former Anglican church, which was subsequently destroyed by World War II bombs. Considering the Christian religious threads woven throughout our performance work, this seemed a good fit. Tenancy of St Saviour's was taken over by Robert Lenkovich in the 1990s, who repurposed the building to use as an artist studio. It is in his Sexual Behaviour series that the artist depicts nude women, often represented in intimate encounters with the artist himself. These paintings appear to objectify women and their bodies, positioned, styled, and staged by Lenkovich himself, the male artist. Pictorial representations of women by Lenkovich formed the politicised artistic landscape in which Dagmar and I would be working.
This Lenkovich painting is called Study of Esther. Esther, the subject object in the picture, sits low to the ground with open legs. Drapes of red material cascade downward from neck to waist before stretching horizontally, curving between protruding knees. A strip of white fabric fans out to frame the neck and shoulders, whilst sheets simultaneously scatter at feet. Hands are placed behind the back, and hair falls loose, hiding the face that is turned away. We look down, observing Esther from a high viewpoint.
We restage the artist positioning his subject-object in the image. The role of Lenkovich embodied patriarchal, hierarchical dynamics by physically positioning Esther's passive body, attaching the material and ordering the folds. Climbing a ladder previously used by Lenkovich himself, the original patriarch, the queer figure gazes down at their creation. Slowly, the static image of Esther begins to shift, morph, and evolve.
I transform into something other, something else, something sort of human descent, but not as human, wholly formed. Torso and legs twist out of puffed up textiles as S-curves of outstretched arms drape red cloth cut across the waist of a headless shape. Quads and duos jut, push, prod, and protrude. Encased within, stretching out, rolled, lifted, and twisted, balancing rolls of flesh, framed red. Lost in a process of listening, feeling, and sensing, allowing what comes from within to be with textile.
This sequence, within the performance of The Ascension of Esther, offered us creative space for possibilities and potentialities of body and cloth to take precedent live in front of an audience. Jocelyn McKinney's work on indwelling provides a language through which to articulate the playful reciprocities occurring between body and cloth in the sequence, drawing us towards listening to textiles rather than mastering them. Indwelling in The Ascension of Esther allowed the materials to speak, inviting non-hierarchical, fluid, back and forth motions inside a liminal space between the two. White muslin hangs from tall steps, thrashing wildly as rage-filled legs kicked repeatedly, sending unruly swirls of fabric flying. Descending, textile is stretched across space, draping loosely upon skin. Standing, wrapped tightly across hips and waist, forms a pencil skirt of sorts. She picks up the reins and catches as she falls, body swaying upwards, balanced, falling forwards and yanked back, upwards, balanced, falling forwards and yanked back, upwards, balanced, falling forwards and yanked back, upwards. Pause.
The co-presence of body and cloth both exemplifies and accommodates fluid transitions and transformations to take place. Uncut, untailored, unsolidified properties of cloth allow for multiple performative presentations of self to form, which can work to resist cisgendered assumptions, rather than a tailored piece of clothing which suggests a very specific way of being worn. There is a transformative quality to cloth. It can be used to veil, shroud, gag, cloak, drape, tie, strangle, whip, clothe, bind, and blind. It affords fluid motion, transience, slow flow in and out of movements and meanings.
We find agency as artists by positioning and presenting our bodies, framing our own lived experience as women. The agency of materials emerges from attentive listening to the quiet invitations it offers, indwelling within. Transformations with textile allow fluid self-stylizations to form, offering playful subversions of gendered stereotype and heteronormative constructs. Performance art is our methodology of resistance, offering an unfolding of images and feminist narrative in time and space.
There's a Poundland bag in the corner.
What?
Poundland. Sure. Oh, you can leave the textile in there. That looks quite good.
Church of performance.
Fuck the patriarchy.